this video we'll be taking a look at the B1 Battle Droid for the Vintage Collection. This is actually the first time that we saw this sculpt, and since then it's had numerous releases over the last 10 years at this point. The original came out during the Phantom Menace wave in 2012. And personally, I think it's a really good action figure. I know it has a couple issues with it, and I have kind of reviewed this droid before with the Heavy Battle Droid and the Turnikoski 2003 Clone Wars Battle Droid, which are utilizing the same sculpt as this. There are some slight differences with it, and I might note that in a later video comparing the various sculpts of the B1 Battle Droid and the evolution of it. But for the purposes of this video, we'll be just taking a look at the original release from back in 2012 and the re-release that was in 2021, which I have both versions here to show you. But before we take a look at both figures, let's just take a look at this package here. So the package you're looking at is the re-released card, which as far as I know is basically the same thing as the original. I did have the original card at one point, but it was during the time I wasn't really saving any of the cards. That's a nice image of the Battle Droid there during the Battle of Naboo. He was VC-78 at the time, and I have several of these reviewed on channel. TIE Fighter Pilot is, Queen Amidala is, the Mandalorian is, Moff Gideon is, Armor is, and the Peasant Disguise Anakin is. So that's the package. Let's go ahead and take a look at both figures here. I have two of the re-release here to show you, and both are slightly modified. So this one here is the original. It looks pretty good. Clear paint. Nothing sloppy about it. And it is a slightly different shade from this one here. The re-release is much darker. Other than the paint on it, it's basically the same exact action figure. So I suppose the two main criticisms I have of this sculpt is, for one, you can't really hold the blaster rifle in both hands, so you kind of have to do an awkward hold like that where he holds it in his one hand around the trigger guard there, and then this one's just kind of there basically, acting like he is holding it. Too bad they didn't have a swivel wrist where you can at least get it where they could hold both. And also the backpack doesn't stay in very well oftentimes. As you can see there, the peg's kind of small. But that wasn't the second point I was going to make. The second point was, oftentimes this Battle Droid doesn't stand very well on its own. You have them on a shelf like that, and then over time they start doing things like that. I don't think the original release here has that problem so much, but these two do. And I will say the limbs on the re-releases here feel a little bit more fragile, I think, compared to the original. Perhaps it's just my sample. Not 100% sure on that. It's something worth noting. But other than that, I think he looks pretty nice. He is a little bit more scrawny and smaller compared to the previous sculpts we got in the past. I think he holds up pretty good. In terms of the articulation, he does have a joint at the neck there, and has a pretty good range of motion. Just take that off. Pretty much get him in most positions that you want him in. And his neck even extends all the way down when you want to put him in the basically the resting position. He does have swivel shoulders and hinged elbows, which go past 90 degrees. Nothing in the torso. And he does have hinged hips technically. A little more limited though compared to a lot of action figures, but it's understandable given how thin he is. But he does have hinged knees. Very good range of motion there. And hinged ankles. And like I noted, you can put this battle droid in the position like how we saw them in the Phantom Menace. They're about ready to battle the Gungans. And too bad you couldn't really attach the blaster to his control pack there. Do something like that. And like I said, for the re-release here, it's the same exact thing, minus the paint apps are a little bit different. A little bit of a darker shade. And both look nice in their own way. I can't say one's better than the other, it's just preference. I'm glad to have both. But for weapons and accessories, he just comes with the standard Battle Droid blaster that I'm pretty sure we've gotten this in so many figures. And both tones are the same exact thing, I think. This one might be a little bit of a lighter shade of gray compared to this one. But it's the same exact blaster regardless. Of course, the control pack on his back is removable. I think on the re-releases they stay a little bit better in place. Seems to be the experience I've had so far. Then for the third one here, it comes with this extra antenna. Which I had plugged into this third battle droid here. And you can only have one or the other. You can either have the antenna plugged in here or the backpack. Well, it looks pretty good. Able to display the battle droid slightly different if you choose to. You can treat him like he's a battle droid commander. But other than that, I think that's really all there is I can tell you about this battle droid. It is what it is. It's just a standard B1 battle droid. Would I recommend these for your collection? I would. I think you should have a few of them. Would I recommend the original or the re-release? I don't think it really matters. I think if whichever one's easier for you to get a hold of is perfectly fine. And as far as I know, I think both versions are still fairly affordable. The original maybe a little bit more than the re-release. But you can still probably get the re-release in the less than $20 range if you look in the right places. So he shouldn't be too hard to get a hold of. And if you go to comic shops, he might be plentiful because even though Battle Droid's an army builder, he doesn't sell quite in the quantity that clones do normally. So you should be able to find one. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. We'll be playing more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. Check out some of the links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.